because the whole time he sort of had in his head that what he did was him and Tem becoming one and the same. Like, you're a part of me now.
Please eat me.
Yeah.
Eat me, daddy. Hello, fellow weebs and otakus. Welcome to another episode of Anime Fix. We're your fix for all things anime. I'm Chase.
And I'm Lance.
Hello, Lance.
Hello.
We're in person again.
For only the second time.
Only the second time.
15 episodes, are we?
No. Oh, goodness. You're going to test me like this? I have no idea. Yeah, 15. So this is 16.
Yeah, number 16.
This is 16. It's kind of weird being in person, though, man.
It is.
Usually over Discord. My hair's not done. What? I'm sorry.
And we don't have dogs.
Don't have dogs.
Growling at the front door.
And they want pets.
Yeah.
Hey. What are we talking about today?
We were talking about Beastars 1 and 2.
Beastars 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's a lot to unpack.
It is. I didn't watch a single episode.
I mean, you've already seen it.
I have already seen it. I did watch a season 1 recap, and I started a season 2. And then I started the volume 1 of the manga.
Volume 1 of, like, season 1 of the manga? Is that, like, very, very beginning?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I watched... So I didn't watch, like, a recap or anything of season 1. But I remember everything, hopefully.
Okay.
But I did watch all of season 2 in one night, which was last night.
Yeah. It's all fresh. So you'll probably remind me of some things.
Honestly, it's super fresh.
Yeah.
And you were asking me before we started, and I wanted to, like, record before we actually got into a little more about season 2, what my thoughts were. And I don't know, man. I didn't like it as much as season 1.
Yeah, it felt like, for me, it started off really strong.
It did.
And then it sort of, towards the end, I kind of took a detour. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, a detour into nonsense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, anything that Legoshi did. Not at all.
Like, in the...
No, don't like, try to, like, nitpick. Nothing he did was correct. Nothing.
And then that was also that fed into what I told you when I first watched it. Was it really focused on? It really showed them being kids.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely kids.
The decisions that they make, like in the first season, it's kind of filled that sort of trope where they're in high school, but they're all pretty mature for their age, and far along. And in season 2. The decisions they were making, I was like, that's something that I would do. I would think is a good idea in high school, not as an adult.
I can't wait. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do a season 3 or like how far it is in the manga, but like the decisions that they made in season 2 and the consequences they have to live with, I'm like...
They got off easy.
No, they didn't get off easy. I mean...
What do you mean they got off easy? They didn't.
Louis didn't get off easy. We'll talk about season 1 first. But then we'll get into season 2 because I'm going to rip it apart.
So, for context, you said you don't know how far along it is in the volume.
Yeah.
Or in the manga. There are... I think there are 15 volumes to date.
Oh, really?
Of the manga. And season 2... is early on in that, so it's definitely, I think, in the first half.
Okay.
So,
since you're the more furry guy here,
you say that.
Yeah. For context, when me and Lance were first talking about this, like 2 years ago when Beastars season 1 came out, every time he'd bring it up, because he brought it up a lot before he got into Psychopath's obsession. I always called him a furry, but with good reason, because he brought it up a lot. Not as much as Psychopaths, but a lot.
It was very good. I think it was. If I were to go through every, since I'm so new to anime as a genre, every time I see something that just sort of baffles my mind at how good it is and how it was done and how it was put together, it's sort of like I've said this. I like my expectations to be usurped, not actually what I think's going to happen.
Yeah.
And with like Madoka Magica, with like Your Name, Beastars, all those things, when I watch them, it's like it gets continually better. It's like I'm learning something new, a new idea, or the way a story is told sort of just takes me by surprise. And so that's why I talk about it so much. Like, I didn't know it could get better. I thought, Your Name was kind of like the cap of...
I mean, it kind of is.
Well, it is very good, but like it's still a narrow example. Yeah. It's one type of anime movie. Mm-hmm. And so like with Beastars and Silent Voice and Psychopaths, Madoka Magica...
they're all different in their own way, for sure.
All different in their own way, but it just really raises the stakes, I feel. So like it gets me more excited for the next thing we're going to watch.
Yep. I totally agree, for sure. So since you're more into it, what I was going to say is kind of have you explain the like season 1 part of it and like what it's about, like the setup for it.
So the title, I'll go ahead and get it. The title Beastars is in reference to, I'm not sure if it's sort of like a cultural thing within this region or if it's like an actual title that is like a official title, but Beastars refers to a student who rises above the challenge and becomes a leader for both herbivores and carnivores.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the person who, kind of like in Tokyo Ghoul, brings the two groups together.
Yeah, brings both worlds together.
I forget who that character's name is, but
Kaneki?
Kaneki, yeah. Brings the two groups together. So that's what Beastars is in reference to. The scene that it takes place in is in a high school in Japan, and they're all anthropomorphized animals.
That's a big word for me, man.
Yeah, so it's a humanoid animal. So you see wolves, you see bears, you see rabbits, you see foxes, all types of animals in a humanoid form, and they're all in high school.
Okay.
In this environment, they live on campus. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's a type of school. Like, is it like a boarding school?
Yeah.
Or if it's like a private boarding school, or if it's more common, I don't know. But they all live on campus. Where the season 1 starts is a herbivore has been eaten by a carnivore, which sets the stage for a lot of. There's already distrust, but it really raises the ante on how much distrust there is between the herbivores and carnivores, and that's a major back theme.
Yep.
Our main characters, or two of our main characters, are Legoshi and Haru.
Yep. Of season 1.
Season 2 is
it's crazy. Not to sidetrack, but like season 2 of Beastars, I thought it was going to be more of Legoshi and Haru, but you see Haru maybe 3 times in the whole season.
Yeah, she's really just more of a talking point than
honestly. Yeah, I was so confused on that aspect of it. But anyway, season 1. It's more Legoshi and Haru.
It's primarily Legoshi and Haru, and that's another distinction though from the manga. Is in the manga, each of the characters have their own moments where they're kind of like the centerpiece of the story.
In the manga, Okay.
So from what I've read so far, like even some major side characters, like in season 1 when that I think it was a fox comes barreling in to confront Legoshi about why he's not going to be the lead in the play or the character in the play, that it's going to go to this other, and you get to see Legoshi like arm block him from trying to bite. Do you remember that?
Oh, you mean like when Louis couldn't do it? Or
No. So there was a scene where Louis and Legoshi are in a office lounge area or whatever. Yeah. And this fox comes in.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Very upset he's not going to be in the play. Yep. And then he finds out he's not going to be an actor anymore. Yep. He's just going to be a stagehand.
Yep.
So even that, like, we just see him barrel in. We don't get to see the thought going through his head leading up to that moment when he found out that he wasn't going to be that part. What he was thinking when he found out he wasn't going to be an actor anymore in the drama club. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all things that you see in the manga that kind of gets sort of implied in the anime, but because Legoshi's the main character, you just get to see.
And they have to cut things out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
So, but Legoshi is a gray wolf who is probably or if not one of the most powerful carnivores in the whole school.
Yep. I mean, he can't hold a candle to a brown bear, but that's just me saying.
I mean, he did in season 2 took down that brown bear. So
kind of not really.
You know, all right.
We'll get to it.
But he's one of the most powerful students in the school. But he's so afraid of people being scared of him that he tries to make himself seem more timid and weak than what he really is. And we actually see a moment where he's in a confrontation and he's like thinking in his head, okay, how can I make this look like I lose intentionally? He knows he's gonna.
How can I lose intentionally? Yep.
And so that's who he is. And then Haru is his love interest, who's a dwarf rabbit,
which is really weird, but it is what it is.
Who has a reputation of being very promiscuous in the school.
As a rabbit, which makes sense.
Well, it makes sense as a rabbit. Also makes sense with her character because her whole life, because of how small she is and how weak she is, has always felt like incapable of taking care of herself, and is treated like she can't be taking care of herself. And what she had found out is that when she was promiscuous, that was the only time when people would treat her normally or with respect. And so it sort of like reinforced her behavior to be that way, which also fits in with the theme of her character being a rabbit, being very promiscuous. So it's kind of like, which is why I said I really enjoyed in that aspect of the story, because the fan service, because there is some little bit of fan service.
Kind of. They're animals, so not really. Maybe for you, but
shut up. There are some explicit, some semi-explicit scenes.
Yes.
But it serves to the character's end.
It does.
It's not just there.
Yeah, and you were talking about this, that you don't like fan service unless it's important to the character's development, right?
Yeah, I think that's because it adds another layer to them, versus it just being there to be there, which I feel takes you out of the story. Yeah, because it's sort of just like in your face, like so. Anyway,
some of the other animes we watched, it's just there to be there.
Yeah.
But I was telling Lance as well, like that's a big anime trope is fan service.
Yeah,
and you're gonna see it a lot. So might as well get used to it.
Yeah. But so we find out that's who his love interest is, and there's a major point: is Legoshi actually in love with Haru, or is his carnivore urges, his instincts, manifesting his love? But he just wants to eat her.
Yeah. Well, which is really cool because they touched on that on season 2 too, with the. I'm not sure what she was. A gazelle. That was the stripper in that
that was another. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like it's both the sexual desire as well as the carnivorous desire, and like they're just so confused, and like she's a gazelle as a stripper. Kind of weird, but just get past it. It's Beastars. But there's a cage that goes up, so like they can't eat the herbivore because she's one of the only herbivore dancers in the whole thing. And for some reason, I know the reason is this girl, leopard, whatever she is, was jealous and like lowered the cage, and like this tiger jumped up. And
she was jealous because
she was getting all the.
Well, yeah, because like you said, there's that merge there between is it carnivorous instinct and is it sexual attraction, and so
it amplifies both.
The carnivore stripper doesn't get that same experience because she's a carnivore, and carnivores don't have a desire to eat their group
species. I just thought that was cool that it touched on that as well in season 2. But back to season 1. So another big point besides that relationship between the reason that they started that. Why Legoshi started to have a relationship with Haru was because late one night he got an urge to eat meat, I guess.
Right? So what happened was So Louis, in that same scene we talked about earlier, where there was a confrontation where we find out the fox wasn't going to be an actor anymore. What they were doing there was Louis, because they had to replace Tim.
And who is Louis?
Louis is believed to be the next Beastar, who is
he's a deer.
Is a deer.
So
he's kind of a very condescending deer.
Oh yeah.
And even confronts Legoshi like, why do you act so weak?
Yeah.
I mean, you could kill me and with no effort, but you're acting all timid and afraid and don't want to hurt anyone. So, and that was really confusing. Like, why would you antagonize him? Yeah, like eat me. But Legoshi, because he is so concerned with being embarrassed and so concerned with the performance going off without a hitch, plans a late night practice session with the replacement at the stage, which they're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to be on campus after hours. And so since they had to sneak in, Louis asked Legoshi to stand watch. So,
I remember that. Yep.
So while Legoshi was outside, Haru was walking home.
Yep.
Which in the manga, I don't remember if it was referenced in the anime, but in the manga, the reason why Haru is walking home so late is because she's bullied because all the guys want her, and so
the other girl rabbits bullied her,
and they threw like a bucket of water or fish or some anyway on her, and it caused her like her clothes to be soaked. So she was on campus drying out her clothes. And so that's why she was going home late. So that's what sets the stage why she was walking out so late by herself, and why Legoshi was there on watch. He has the scent of the rabbit, which inflames his instincts, and so he lunges at her. And you see him like holding her, trying to fight the urge. And what I thought was really cool was the sort of shadow, sort of like back of the mind voice going like, just do it.
Just do it.
And he's fighting that urge. And it only stops because the replacement for Tim, who was the animal that got eaten at the beginning of the season, comes running out saying, Legoshi, Louis hurt himself. And so it sort of breaks that
mindset of trying to eat her.
And Haru runs away.
And that's what kind of started that relationship, because I think Legoshi's trying to like get to know her better or apologize.
I think he feels guilty.
He feels guilty and tries to get closer to her. And then you find out later in the season 2 that the other main character, Louis, already has a relationship with Haru. And they've been doing the no pants dance with interspecies, which is really weird, but it is what it is. It's Beastars. Just get used to it. But it's just like that kind of like love triangle, and then
which he's not even really into Haru.
No,
he is. It's just like, oh yeah, I like you. It's fun hanging out, but I have a preset marriage that I have to.
But I think he likes being with Haru because he gets to be completely himself and be more vulnerable. Because in season 2, remember, she always compared the two between Louis and Legoshi. Legoshi's more of the man and like the stronger person, stuff like that, and then Louis is more of a baby when he's with her instead, which I thought was a weird, not weird, but like a cool to see the difference between a herbivore and a carnivore and how she feels with that relationship.
And I think the reason why this story works so well with them all being animals is because it adds because of the conflicts that they're trying to tell, and how the rich kid is fooling around with sort of, I don't want to say poor
commoner,
same thing. That it really ups like the tension by adding the element of them all being animals, because it you can tell a story about a rich pretentious douchebag involving himself with a common student, right? And that story's been told before, but the tension, the fact that they're both different species, and the sort of expectation of continuing your species on and not engaging in interspecies relationships really adds another layer to that, because that's not normal, and so that I think is why it works best being told with them being animals versus people.
And then like if it was the same story but with just regular humans, the story would not be as good.
Yeah,
100%. But then it's like the MacGuffin or whatever to move the story along. I think is the first one where like that happened, obviously. So he's trying to get close to Haru, but they also the guys, the carnivores of the drama club, end up going and like they either get lost or they end up in the black market.
Yeah,
and the black market is where they sell all herbivore meat. Now, these herbivores, these herbivore meat, are they meat that they died naturally, or they go and kill them?
I think
it's natural.
I think it's naturally because you see Goheen.
Yeah.
So Goheen is a sort of like
he's a panda.
A street doctor.
Yeah. But pandas are big bears, but it's cool because 99% of their diet is vegetables, and bamboo and stuff like that. So he's considerably a herbivore, pretty much. So like he's kind of like he's the doctor that goes and rehabilitates animals that give in to their temptation of eating meat. And so he goes and instead of like turning them in, calling the cops or whatever, he goes, rehabilitates them, and sends them back into society.
Yeah. So the black market kind of exists to sort of curb those instincts, and the panda's character exists to anyone who's gone outside the black market and like actually is killing like live herbivores.
Live herbivores,
to prevent that.
Yeah.
And he's a very interesting character because he completely just like when he meets Legoshi. And he's like, "You're into rabbits." Some weird calls it a weird fetish.
Yeah, weird fetish.
And hands him a dirty rabbit magazine.
Here, satisfy urges.
But even like it's interesting because even in the story, like we're as viewers are watching and you're like, "This is weird." Yep. And then in the story, a character's like, "Why are you being weird? Why are you into a rabbit?" So
don't be weird.
Yeah.
But then you get to see like the black market, but isn't that also where you first see the Shishigumi, or do you not see them until
I don't think you see them
until they abduct
Haru, because that's the first time I remember, because that they explain like who is this group that abducted Haru.
Yep. And so another thing I like about season 1 versus season 2 is the pacing of season 1 is so more fluid. Like every episode has a reason to be there. Season 2, you could have cut it down to 3 episodes, in my opinion.
I don't know about 3 episodes.
I'm pretty sure 3 episodes. But anyways, for season 1, so
maybe 3 hour-long episodes.
No, that's the whole season. But season 1, the catalyst as well, like the climax where it comes up to is the Shishigumi, which is a lion mafia gang, Yakuza gang. There we go. But they abduct Haru because she's a dwarf white rabbit and
rare delicacy. And they like to. So it's a whole experience that they try to set up to where because the idea is that they make Haru undress, bathe, try to create this, get her really panicked and like just
so they can taste the fear in them.
Yeah.
It's
a weird sort of sadistic it's like lead up to her death, and so supposed what we think is going to happen. So
it's like people like wanting to eat eggs from caged chickens because they like to taste the fear in them. Oh, that's funny.
Weird analogy, but it works.
It works though. It works. But Haru gets abducted, and then the 2 big shots of the school, Legoshi and Louis. Legoshi first, and then Louis like, well, if he's going, I gotta go.
Right. Well, this is after though. Louis gets told by I think the mayor.
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna let it go.
Just let it go. Let it go. She's not worth it.
Yeah. And if you do this. Oh, this is an interesting backstory for Louis that we get to see more of in season 2. Louis was actually adopted from the black market.
From the black market,
yeah. And he has this mark on his foot.
Live bait number 4.
And what the mayor tells him is, let this go, and we will erase that you completely, where you came from.
Yeah.
Which is something that just sits in Louis' mind throughout his whole life. Like, I was supposed to die.
And the mayor's a carnivore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a carnivore who I believe has made his appearance look more docile.
Yeah, because he pulled off all his teeth and put dentures in, right?
I think so.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, so he can be more appealing to herbivores. Mm-hmm. But so Louis at first is just going to go, all right, well,
Gee, not worth it.
Not worth it. Which pisses Legoshi off.
Yeah.
And you see him just, that punch where he finally just lets it all go, and Louis just gets knocked out.
Yeah. Yep. And then Legoshi goes after, and obviously Goheen helps out the panda. And they
after first saying he didn't want to.
After first saying he didn't want to. So these two go on like a 2-man war against the Shishigumi to get Haru back, and just completely dominates the whole Shishigumi. And these are lions going against a panda and a wolf. Yeah. Like, I don't know. They're not king of the jungle. But they eventually they get all the way up to the boss and Haru. Legoshi gets her back. Goheen kind of looks like he died at the end, but he didn't. Mm-hmm.
There's also there's a major confrontation between the head boss and Legoshi. Yeah, Legoshi wins obviously because we just said that they left together. Yep, but he doesn't kill him.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't want to be a murderer, so he just screws him up and then says, "All right, you've learned your lesson," and leaves, thinking that he's just going to let it go. Yep. He doesn't.
He doesn't let it go.
And you see him holding a gun, which this part I think was the biggest like weird thing for me.
Do they have guns?
Yeah, because like they're all talking about their animalistic nature, kind of eating, and you see them fighting like animals. Yeah. But then they have these. Like, why do you need a gun? You have huge fangs that you can...
What I think is the guns weren't made for carnivores. They're made for herbivores to fight off the carnivores if they needed to be like a self-defense thing. But obviously carnivores can also get guns too.
That's fair. I didn't think about that. But you see...
that comes into play with the herbivore.
Yeah. We see Head Boss holding his gun ready to shoot Legoshi. Mm-hmm. And then Louis... much to our surprise because we thought he had just decided to give up, shows up and holds a gun in his mouth.
Into the boss's mouth.
Into the boss's mouth. I knew he has a little moment of just like, I want you to be afraid.
Yeah, sadistic nature.
And then blows his head off.
Yeah. And granted, Legoshi and Haru don't see this because they're like already outside. Yeah. And the boss is trying to shoot the gun at Legoshi from like a 2-story building, so they don't see what's happening either.
Do we know if they heard a gunshot?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. But blows his head off, and then you see the other lions run in. And
what's crazy is that's the end. Yeah. That's the end of season 1.
With Louis just saying, "Eat me, kill me, have your way." Yeah. And then it goes away.
Yep. And then we go into season 2. Oh wait, yeah. What's really crazy is the reason I was so upset of season 1 ending. Like, yeah, you got Haru back, but who killed Tim? We're not gonna touch on that. Yeah. So like that's why I wanted to like go more into season 2 and like read more because season 2 came out a couple months ago or.
So season 2 came out in the U.S. So season 2 came out in like January in Japan. And then season 2 had an English dub in, I think, June or July.
Yeah, because that was around the time when we first started this podcast.
Yes. Because I had said I wanted to talk about Beastars season 2.
It took 16 episodes. There's so much anime out there. Yeah. But yeah, so season 2, I'm excited to talk about season 2 because I have a lot of issues.
Go right ahead. It's fresh in your mind. You have some grievances.
I don't know, man. First off, pacing, awful. All those episodes, I was like, all right, what's new going to happen here? Nothing new happens. Like, there's a little bit of character development with, like, Louis, a little bit of character development with Legoshi, and then just trying to figure out who did it. Maybe if I didn't know who already did it, I'd probably be more interested in it. But Haru's not in it at all, which like is a huge part of season 1. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. That's just how I felt about that whole dynamic. But the beginning of season 2, I don't know. You say what you want to say first, and then I'll think about it some more.
So I definitely read ahead for a little bit of spoilers. So like, I found out who was the culprit. right?
Yep,
and that's all. That's all I found out.
That's all you found out. So you had nothing. You didn't know anything about Louis.
I didn't know anything about Louis still being alive. I didn't know anything about the sort of hunt. I figured they were going to continue, but I didn't know it was going to be like this anaconda security guard.
Bro, I was like, you did not do your job at all. I'm like, first off, how can no one see you? You're a giant snake. Yeah, like.
Which,
how strong are those air conditioners so that they don't fall with that anaconda going through it all?
I think what I like the introduction of a new character. What I didn't like is, like, apparently she's been a security guard this whole time, but we heard no mention of her. And nobody knows. Yeah, and she sucks because she didn't prevent him from dying. So, like, I felt like while the introduction of a new character was cool,
it was only for like 2 episodes.
It's only like 2 episodes. And it seemed to only be there to put Legoshi into, I'm charging you with finding.
Yeah. It's like, I'm awful at my job. I want you, a student who's barely 18, to find this culprit because I can't do it.
Yes. So, and I think, does the snake have like an attraction to the student too? I got that feeling that she seemed to be like very into him.
Maybe. She said that this one's different.
Yeah.
So maybe
not. I don't know. Which I thought that was weird, but yeah, it seemed like she was only there to give Louis or Legoshi purpose for the rest of the season. I really liked how we got to see a dynamic of Louis being in charge of the Shishigumi.
Yeah, so you find out very quickly that after Louis kills the boss, lions all rush in, and they're like, "You killed our boss." And Louis like, sure did. He's like, eat me now. And he's like, no. And then like the second in line, the Shishigumi boss is like, not boss, but like the second in line was like, we're gonna make you the head of the Shishigumi for a herbivore to help us improve our perception better. And he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna be a pawn in you. So he tries to kill himself with the gun, but the Shishigumi saves him, and then like he eventually becomes the main boss. They force him to eat like meat as well, and he hates it. But like,
and what's cool about that second in command is he recognizes that.
Yeah, he recognizes that he's the next in line to be a Beastar.
Yeah, but also like he knows that eating the meat is making him sicker and weaker and not good for him. So he gives him like vegetables and a salad. It's like, here, I'd much rather you eat vegetables and be strong than
for the Shishigumi.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is like he's the one that makes him become the boss, makes Louis become the boss. But he's also the most protective over him because he is the boss. So like when that one lion's like, when we're done with him, we're gonna eat him, and he pins him against the wall and is like, you touch our boss, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. So season 2. I guess I like the Louis struggle a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't like the Legoshi Haru finding the killer struggle at all. I don't like it at all.
Okay.
And then at the end, I hate the ending. Ending makes no sense at all. We'll keep going with season 2, like leading up to it right now, but ending I have so many issues with.
Yeah.
But Louis has to figure out and try to,
he's
survive.
really struggling with his whole, like, he's in charge of these carnivores. His dad is sort of like this. You see where he gets his pretentious attitude from. His dad is equally as pretentious. Like, calls him out saying, like, you don't have the balls, pretty much,
to pull the trigger.
To pull the trigger.
Yeah. And I bought you. That's enough love from the live bait place. I was like, goodness gracious.
So you definitely see where a lot of his internal struggle is coming from. Everyone trying to figure out where he is. I thought what did you think about with we didn't even touch on Juno.
Oh,
the female
gray wolf.
The female gray wolf from season 1.
Yeah.
Which she sort of came. I think she has some elements that are important to her, but like she was definitely a side character.
She's definitely a side character in season 1. Season 2, she's pretty much main character.
Yeah.
Shut up, Klein. Come back when you're the main character.
When she finds where Louis is.
Yeah.
And they have that like little dance moment.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
That was kind of weird. I mean, not weird, but it was pretty interesting. Of like, I don't know what that was supposed to represent. Like him not being in touch with like being a teenager anymore, maybe because he's ahead of the Yakuza group. because he wasn't able to keep up with her with dancing.
Yeah. And she's also, another thing is in season 1 we find out that she plans to try and be the next Beastar instead of Louis.
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of like 2 Beastars coming to a head, maybe. I don't know. But it was interesting. I loved, first off, the 3D animation is cool throughout the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, totally. I think it's better than season 1 for sure.
And in that particular scenes where I noticed it, because they had this sort of top-down angle view of them dancing, and I think you really see the 3D animation. It sticks out in that one scene, I felt.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so Juno sort of finds him, and that sort of conversation. It's shortly after that, though, that he decide that he's going to go back to school.
Who?
Louis.
Louis?
Yeah.
No.
It's not after that dance with Juno?
No, he decides that he's going to be the head of Shishigumi, like, for real.
For real was in that?
Yeah, because, like, he goes and... Well, that's... No, yeah, because, no, like, that's when he, for real, decides to be Shishigumi full-time, because then he comes back to the school...
Gives his
resignation.
Yeah.
And is like, yeah, I'm done.
And then he goes to see his dad after that too, doesn't it?
To sign out of school.
Yeah.
So that interaction, I think, is what determined. Yeah, I'm gonna do Shishigumi completely. Completely do it. Be the belt and be the boss. But yeah, I like that aspect of that storyline. The other storyline of Legoshi trying to find the killer,
his little costume where he's like. Comes into the bar to see Louis. And the lion's like, that's an ugly woman.
Yeah, because that's way later. Because Louis first sees Legoshi when they catch him stealing like the ivory tusks or whatever.
Yeah, and he was shaved at that point too.
Yeah,
he told
because
he's
training.
Yeah,
yeah. They said he was a fox, not a wolf.
Yeah.
And Louis like, what are you doing here?
That's the whole aspect of the season 2 we haven't touched on yet. What? Is he has been on like a vegan diet and training with Goheen to try
Well, they can't have meat because they're in school, right?
They can't have meat, but they still have protein sources that they eat. But he is
like tofu,
egg salad and tofu and.
Well, they can't have egg, right?
He has egg.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole section in season 2 where the
chicken's not people in this.
There's a whole section where the chicken, I don't remember her name, she lays eggs and she's very proud of the quality of her eggs. And
I remember that. Yeah, that's season 1.
Is that season 1?
Yeah, season 1. I remember that.
I thought it was in season 2.
But that's the purpose though. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, makes sense with the egg salad. Okay.
Anyway, but he's like going on straight like, I'm not eating any protein.
Yeah.
He just eats like lettuce and
just vegetables and like juice and then they do ant shakes and stuff sometimes.
Mm-hmm. But he shaved it. The panda shaved his fur.
Yep, shaved his fur.
He's like, I'm not going to eat any protein anymore, and so his jaw strength, which he used to be very proud of, has gotten weaker
because of so like the way the panda or Goheen is trying to help Legoshi fight his urges of trying to eat meat. He sits in a cell with a big slab of meat on a hanger.
Yeah,
and he has to control himself not to eat it. So he does this for 5 days straight. And
he's going to school, going to training.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
Yep. And then he gets to a point where he actually can touch the meat and be fine.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, I thought. But that does make his jaw strength a lot weaker because he doesn't need his jaws anymore because he doesn't get any arousal or like hungry from meat anymore.
So now he has to use like his hands and legs, and
he has to use martial arts to actually defeat like everyone. But he gets caught by the Shishigumi, and then that's where Louis, finds Legoshi and is like, "What are you doing here? Can you stop messing with my stuff?" And they take him back, and then they have like a long talk, and then Louis actually betrays Legoshi because all the lions like pull their guns out on him. So then Legoshi doesn't really take him hostage, but uses him to get away.
Yeah,
which I thought. I didn't expect Louis to betray Legoshi like that, but he's like, yeah, I'm the boss, bro.
Yeah,
I got to do this.
Yeah. But yeah, we see several instances where Legoshi's like, I'm gonna save Louis and get him out of that. And so like what I was talking about is by that point his fur had grown back, and he comes in there and he's like that weird scene where he's like got lipstick on, he's wearing a dress, and the lion's like, here, I want the boss to have a good time, because like, oh, man, I wish he had better taste.
Yeah, he's like I wish he had better taste, and he's like he's a better mammal than I am. And then like
which was weird. Like it was just I felt like that was it was funny, but it was out of place.
Why is that out of place?
Because like it didn't seem. Because it didn't actually lead to anything. They just had a conversation. It didn't like lead to Legoshi getting Louis out of there. He didn't convince him of anything. It just seemed like it was there.
Well, no, he made sure to tell him, like, because this is really close to the end. They made sure to tell him, like, here's the address and the time and day where the fight's gonna happen. I need you to be there.
Oh yeah, because by that point he'd figured out who.
He figured out who did it.
Who is the brown bear?
Yep. Oh, brown bear. I mean, I saw it coming even before I found out. So when did you think that? Because Legoshi confronted him out of nowhere, I thought, because that's when the panther ripped off the sheep's arm on accident, which I thought is ridiculous.
What was ridiculous? The fact that he ripped the arm off, or that they have the technology to just get it back on there?
Both. Because they're all talking, and then you randomly hear a scream, like, what happened? It's like, oh, his arm is off. Yeah. Okay, we're doing this. But like when Legoshi, because the brown bear, we don't know at this point, but the brown bear, Riz, actually almost didn't try to kill Legoshi, but tried to send a warning, like, hey, leave me alone, because I don't want you to find out. So Legoshi bit Riz on the mouth, which is weird.
Oh yeah, because he was blindfolded, and they were having a conflict, and so he
had to get all kinds of clues he could. So to try to figure it out more, he was by himself in the locker room. So he's taking swigs out of all of the drinks and stuff, and he's like, no. And then at the last locker, he opens it up and sees something like a bottle or something like crushed, and he's like, well, that's a sign to tell me not to dig any deeper, and closes it. But I didn't know if like he knew if that was the person, or if he knew like someone planted it there, because next scene that happens is Panther rips off the sheep's arm on accident, so he carries it. He carries him to the nurse's office, and the brown bear is like, I'll help you carry the arm.
And then they have that conversation outside the nurse's office.
Outside the nurse's office, Legoshi's like, thanks for helping me, and stop playing around. I know it's you. And I'm like, what? how did you gather that information?
Yeah, that was sort of totally my surprise. I knew going in it was going to be Riz. Yeah. But I didn't think it was going to... But I had no idea of how they found out, or what the story was leading up to it. And
that made me so upset too.
I didn't quite understand where Riz, the brown bear, because the whole time he sort of had in his head that what he did was him and Tem becoming one and the same. Like, you're a part of me now.
Please eat me.
Yeah.
Eat me, daddy.
Which as a weird sort of delusion that he caused for himself, but
so he didn't have to feel guilt, I think.
Yeah. And then also, I guess bears eat honey.
Well,
to try and
so bears are super, super strong if they don't take medicine, and the biggest side effect is a huge headache and stuff, and the stuff that
quells the headache is honey.
Is honey.
Yeah.
Yep. Which was a cool aspect, I thought, because honey is obviously bears eat a lot. You always see bears eating honey, or Winnie the Pooh eating honey and stuff. So like I thought that was cool. Like they don't eat it because they need to eat it. They eat it because it quells the side effects of the medication.
Yeah, which I wonder what I'm kind of interested in what the background politics and like legal aspect of how this universe is set up, because bears are required to take their medicine
because they're too strong.
Because they're too strong. you're not. It's illegal to eat herbivores, but yet there's a black market where
everybody knows about
and everyone knows about it, but no one's like, quashing it.
I think it's because it's just herbivores that die of natural causes, so I don't really care.
So,
but that's so like right when they found out, that's when I really started having a problem with the anime, with season 2.
Okay, now unload. Let's hear what you have to say.
I don't know. So, first off, you found who it was. It's a brown bear. You can't do anything against that brown bear. He's not taking his medication, and he's twice your size still.
Yeah.
And he stops taking his medication, he's going to destroy you.
Yeah.
Which he does. And then in that bar scene, when Legoshi goes to Louis, and Legoshi tells it was Riz, and
just call the police.
Yeah, he's like, why don't you just call the police? And he's like, no, I got to do it myself. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Just call the police, bro.
Yeah.
And then he lets it linger for 4 more episodes, which
so he
is
gets
like
stronger because he has
which is like 2 more months of like, yeah, I can take him. I can take him. You can't take him, bro.
Well, he did though get like when he. Can I say it? What he did?
Oh yeah.
They get strong when he ate. When Louis holds out his leg with the number on it and says, "Here, eat this," and so.
Bro, okay, so first off, he ate bugs. Didn't do anything for him. It's just not stupid, but like it's this thing about cherishing life, which I thought was okay, but it didn't make him any stronger. Like. At all.
Yeah.
So when he goes to face, so like, I think when they fought in the shower scene,
yeah,
that was more of a one-on-one. I think like, that was more of a competitive thing. But as soon as he stopped taking his medication, Legoshi didn't have a chance at all, even when Legoshi ate.
And you see his fur and his muscles and everything just like, which I don't think it would ever work that fast, but yeah.
I thought it was really cool though. I thought it was super
visually
super cool. It looked like he went Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
So what Lance was saying was that Legoshi ate Louis' right leg.
Right. One of his legs, the one that has the mark of
the mark of number 4 on it.
Yeah.
Ate his right leg, and it gave him. Was able to like increase his size by double. It was super vicious and almost able to take the brown bear. And when I say almost, not really at all.
I'll have to go back and watch because I don't remember it being so one-sided.
It's still one-sided. He didn't even have a chance, man. Didn't even have a chance. Yeah. It's just so frustrating that they're kids, granted, and they're I mean not kids. I mean they're 18-year-olds, but they're kids.
He's like a sophomore or junior in high school. So
Who?
Like. Legoshi.
They're both 18-year-olds.
Are they both 18?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about Legoshi, but Louis is definitely an 18-year-old.
Louis is definitely 18. He's in a final year. Haru's like a junior.
Haru's one below Louis, maybe.
And I'm pretty sure Legoshi is like a sophomore.
Because he was a freshman in the beginning, right? Or not?
In
season 1.
Yeah, I don't think they're above a junior level of high school, so they're not above 17. Well, I don't know about the bear, and I know Louis is not above 17.
Okay. Louis is 18. Legoshi.
I'm sorry, Legoshi is not above 17.
But like, that's so he eats his leg, his whole leg to gain
the kneecap or whatever
to gain some sort of stronger powers to not defeat the bear, and Louis out of a leg, and the police come anyways. What's the point of all of it, Lance? Tell me. Tell me what's the point of all of it.
There's no point of it. It's definitely juvenile. It stemmed from Legoshi wanting to
be the hero,
and be strong enough to prove to Hara that he can defend her from anything. Is all very immature, and that right there is kind of like leading up to it. It's like so right when they started saying, call the police," and he's like, no. That's when I was like, wow. When did this become kids? I was expecting these mature adults and young mature adults. I did not expect them to make all these bad decisions.
Bro, they made so many bad decisions at the very end, and I'm like, but what's crazy is, so what happened was he ate his leg.
Even Louis saying, "Eat my leg."
I'm like so I get it that Louis wants him to eat his leg so he can cut ties with his past because he always sees that number 4 on his leg. I kind of get it, but I'm like, you can't walk now. You can't walk now.
Yeah.
So good on you for not being able to walk.
His understanding it does not make the decision any more
less stupid.
Less stupid. Yeah.
It's very, very stupid. But like, it would make sense if he completely one-sided dominated Brown Bear. That would make me feel a little bit better. But
because the sacrifice meant something.
Yeah, they're they're going one-on-one, right? And like it seems kind of even. And then Legoshi puts all of his strength into one punch, hits the bear, doesn't move. Bear's standing there like, you win. No, you don't. He doesn't win. He doesn't. Oh, and then the police come literally a minute, 2 minutes later after he transforms. I'm like, if you waited up there where the bear couldn't get you for 5-10 more minutes, you'd have a leg. Congratulations.
And the bear would have gone away. Now, I know Legoshi got expelled. I remember that because that was that whole...
He got suspended.
Did he get suspended? I think he got expelled.
No, he got suspended because at the end, he told Haru, I'm going to quit school.
Right.
So it's his choice.
Yeah. So he decided to leave school, which I don't know. Why would you do that?
Because he's a kid.
Yeah. Another bad decision. But yeah, he's like...
Haru's like, yeah, I don't understand the decisions you make. I'm like, neither does the audience, bro.
And he got suspended, only suspended because of Louis probably telling or...
No, all the so like Pina, which is another sheep we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
But he was in on the...
Another pretentious
goat. But he was in on knowing like who the killer was, so all the statements they let Legoshi go. But what's crazy is eating the leg also turned him into a criminal. He had a criminal record, and he's a devourer, and that's always going to be with him throughout all of his life now.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to live with that consequence, live with the consequence that your friend can't walk anymore.
Yeah. That you cared so much about this whole time.
Yeah.
And and how he was like, I do this. Like it was almost like they were experiencing an intimate moment with him consuming his leg.
Yeah, it's not intimate at all. It's not.
No, what happened to the bear? Did he get expelled?
He got arrested.
Yeah, he got arrested. Straight arrested and went to jail.
He's in prison.
Yeah.
He's in prison for sure.
Why do you... Because I don't remember. Why did Legoshi essentially got off easy?
Because of the statements from all the other students. So Peanut already knew what was going on. Uh-huh. Peanut testified against the bear. And then Louis' testimony of like, yeah, I told him to eat the leg so he can defend us. Uh-huh. Which it really wasn't that way.
Yeah.
But that's why he got off easy. But he still, because he did consume meat of a live animal, he's still a devourer.
Yeah.
And still has a record now.
I definitely didn't...
His life is screwed up now.
Well, I guess it depends. Is it a felony? Is it a misdemeanor? I mean, to what degree?
I don't know. Devour sounds like a felony to me, but I don't know.
I mean, but I'm pretty sure if it was a felony, he would have gone to jail. So,
well, not if they're like, "Hey, eat me."
But it depends on where Devour is, because is Devour? I mean, is he same crime then as Riz? Or is Riz what's...
No, Riz is way worse because he killed him.
Well, I know Riz is way worse, but I'm saying what classification? This is what I'm saying. Like, is it like a Class A misdemeanor? Is it a Class C felony? Is what Riz did like what if Legoshi is if Legoshi is called a devourer? What is Riz called? Just a straight murderer, or like that's what I
think
mean.
It's devourer and murderer.
You just make that up.
I did totally.
Yeah, you just pulled that out of here.
Yeah, you just speak with confidence. You know what I mean?
Anyway, that's what I'm saying. Like, what to what degree in our universe would devour fall under in regards to the crime?
I guess
because I'm pretty sure if it was a felony level, he would have served some time.
I guess it just depends on how much you eat.
Maybe it's per ounce. Like, hey, if you consume X amount of meat from a live body.
Yeah. They weigh him before and after. It's like, you know, if he's missing 2 legs, I don't know. Might have to put you in jail.
But yeah, so I feel like he got off pretty easy. I didn't hate the season.
I didn't hate the season. I hated the last half of the season.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to watch season 3 because I'm very interested.
Are they doing season 3?
I imagine they'll do a season. I mean, there's still more volumes of the manga for them to adapt.
Hopefully Haru's in it more.
I'll let you know because I'm going to finish volume 1 and read volume. I'm going to read it all.
Nice. I just read through Soul Leveling again this week. It was so good again.
I'm going to be finishing
Psychopaths
Volume 3.
You need to read Soul Leveling. It's so good. So I think this is time. We're almost at an hour.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about next week?
Let's talk about, because I'm kind of interested in what I wanted to watch with you today, but we were going to run out of time.
Yeah.
It's a short 46-minute.
46-minute?
I think so, yeah. 46-minute. Maybe standalone episode. Here, I'm going to my watch list.
Or movie?
Or movie. Koto no Ha no Niwa.
Is that the Garden of Words?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We can watch that.
It's 46 minutes, yeah. Came out in 2013. It looks
really cool.
Looks really cool.
The story looks really cool, too. So, it's on Netflix, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. I think it's where I saw it on.
Okay.
Maybe it's on HBO Go. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If not, if we can't find it, we'll figure something else out to watch.
We'll watch something else. It's fine. Well, there'll be another episode. We made it to 16 episodes. I think we can make it a little more.
Hey, maybe we could do Tokyo Ghoul as a backup if we can't get this one.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
All right. We'll catch everyone next time when we talk about either Garden of Words or Tokyo Ghoul.
All right. Bye.